Welcome. This is Gwyn, and with me is Frodan. We are casting Game 2 of Maker versus Doro, and this is part of the ESEA. I believe it's the semifinals here, the quarterfinals between, of course, Vile and xSix. So we'll have to see what happened in Game 1. Spoiler alert here, guys, but in Game 1, Doro did a proxy 2-gate and took out Maker. I don't think Maker was too happy about that. We'll have to see if he is able to pull it back for cross positions and a 4-player map. So I don't think we'll see a cheese on this one. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's still possible to actually cheese. There's a lot of room for proxy stargates, especially in cross positions. You can just kind of plant the stargate in the close by ground positions, and that's kind of like what Next Genius and some players love to do. But I don't know exactly what Thoro's up to. And again, he kind of showed that he's a little bit unpredictable in that sense, because I've also seen him bust out regular macro builds as well. He sometimes does that proxy gate, and the next game he goes like a gasless 1-gate fast expand or something and throws you completely off. So always got to be looking for that when you go up against a player like this.
We did see, though, the pylon in base. It looks like he's throwing a gateway down in his base as well, as opposed to last game where both his gateways were out of his base. And it looks like Maker opting again not to wall off, and that's it's such an interesting choice in this matchup, to wall off or not to wall off. You're a Protoss player, so I mean, what do you think? What do you think is more vulnerable?
I think it's a really good idea that in general to just try to be as safe as possible. I mean, Doro does have, you have to keep in mind it is a best of 3, so Doro does have that 1-game advantage, so there is a little bit of room to be able to work with any kind of mistake. So I would say if there's a time where you go for one of those quote-unquote riskier builds in terms of trying to get your economy up early, I don't mind that. But again, in PvT, you have to be very, very cautious, because Terran can play very reactive against you, so you have to be very, very cautious in terms of how you open up.
And a gas steal out of Doro. I wonder if he's going to cancel that or if he's going to leave it. Of course, Protoss assimilators have double the hit points of the refinery or the extractor, so that will take him quite a while to drop. Looks like going up to 2 gas back in Protoss base. Do you think we might see like a 1-gate robo out of this?
Yeah, it's interesting just because they just signify, you want to go for more of a 1-base timing. There's a lot of possibilities. Doro could just be opening up a standard 3-gate, very Huangson-esque type of pressure build like Slayer's Alicia used to love doing. And there's just a lot of possibilities. You steal gas to limit the options of Terran. Try to get him to fast expand, actually. That's kind of the idea of stealing gas, or at least trying to delay the inevitable 1-1-1 that is ever so popular nowadays. So there's a lot of things that could be happening, but it's interesting to point out that Doro actually skipped his first Zealot and he went straight for a Stalker. So he is saving up for something, but we have to find out just now.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Getting the second gas, the timing wasn't quite right for a 1-gate robo. And that gas steal, of course, is annoying. But it looks like Maker going to respawn by throwing down a factory and a barracks pretty far away. Of course, like you said, throwing down that or getting that gas steal off limits Terran's options. Not going to be able to go for any cloaked banshees really fast. But it looks like he is going for a tech lab there. Do we have a starport on the way? No, we don't have a starport. So we might just be seeing a marine tank all in here.
Yeah, and I mean, Maker, keep in mind that this game was played after Maker just got cheese, so maybe he feels like he has to be a little bit more 1-base and not try to see if he can open up a very fast expand where it's easy for Terran to punish. But you're right. Look at here, Doro is going for a robotics very, very quickly. In fact, before second gate, and he is saving up quite a bit of gas. And we have seen a recent revival, actually, of a lot of 1-base Colossus builds in PvT, just because that's a good way to be safe from any kind of early tech builds. But look at this, Maker does sneak.
Oh, wow.
And he does see the robotics. That's absolutely huge here, Gwen.
He does, and he sees it being chronoed as well, so he knows that chrono boost is going to be a slower warp gate. Warp gate, of course, just finishing now as that SCP gets killed. He saw the 2 gates, he saw the robo, saw that there was not a fast warp gate, and probably assumes that there's an expansion on the way, and it looks like that is what's going to happen. I mean, that's a pretty big tell, and look at this. Maker, he's got his first tank out, he has siege mode on the way, another tank, and he's got these 3 barracks, add-onless barracks, pumping Marines constantly. And yeah, I mean, this definitely looks like we're going to see some Marine tank action here. And look at this, scouting out with these Marines, going to kind of poach out onto the map. might be able to get a free stalker kill, but this observer is on its way over, and he will see exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and Doro will scout Marine tank, and when he does see that, he's going to see that his robotics bay is going to be very, very effective if he starts rushing Colossus, because there's nothing really to deal with the Colossus other than the range of the tanks, but that's easily abated by the fact that he has an Immortal out, so Doro's actually in a really good build order position, although he has to be a little bit more frivolous with his scouting of his Observer, kind of just parking and be content with what you see. But he does see the composition with his Stalker. He's pulling back right now.
Here come the SCVs. Maker pulls out the SCVs as well, so this is definitely going to be an all-in here. Maker probably a little bit tilted from that loss there. Yeah. But I mean, with that Immortal out and this Colossus halfway done being Chrono Boosted, will have enough Chrono Boost to be able to Chrono Boost it another time, getting as many Zealots out as he can. Needs to save all that gas, of course, and there was a cancel on that Nexus.
Wow, actually, yeah, it's a great decision there. Doro does realize that he has to push back. Maybe he wants to defend his ramp a little bit longer. He needs to stall for his Colossus. Colossus pops out just in the nick of time, and Guardian Shield goes up. Looks like Doro's just going to try to engage here. Nice force field to block off the reinforcement tanks. He's going to be able to trap all these Marines.
The Immortal did absolutely nothing, though, wandering around with its 5 range, unable to hit anything. But, you know, the Colossus cleans up those Marines. Wow, Marines die quickly to Colossus. If only Maker was Puma and he just microed against it.
Yeah, the most important thing, though, is that Maker lost most of the SCVs that came with his army, so he's actually at a severe economic disadvantage right now, so Thor's actually outproducing him, and every minute that Maker waits is actually a minute that's going to be threatening his loss. Maker's just going to push in here. Robotics second Colossus pops out, and that is absolutely bad news for Terran. Another Guardian Shield goes down. Thor feeling really confident now that he has 2 Colossi, as the Marines are all falling, and when the Marines fall, there's not going to be a lot of DPS. Zealot's coming in from behind, and Maker calls good game. And wow, that was actually very good crisis management by Thoro. And Maker, I mean, he tried to put on the counter all-in cheese, but didn't work out so good for him this time.
Did not quite work out, you were right. And look at the pylon spread out of vileDdoro just for a second. He was able to warp in those Zealots from a pylon out and flank those tanks. A great move by him, great tactical decision making, and rushing for those Colossus really saved him the day.
Yeah. So, you know, it just looks like Thoro doing the great job, and that kind of just goes to show you a little bit of that build order, but Thoro being very, very safe, getting that robotics out, and ultimately that kind of safe play is what able to win him that game.
It certainly was. And guys, we'll be continuing with this Vile versus xSix. Looks like Vile took that series, but will xSix be able to take it back? We'll have to find out as we come up into the next games.